Welcome back to the channel. I'm Crypto Trend Trader, and today we're going to be taking a look at Bitcoin. But before we get started, I'd like to remind you it's not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. These markets are extremely volatile, so please do your own research and trade responsibly. Alright, so here we have the Bitstamp daily chart, and we're going to be taking a look at what I like to refer to as the chart matrix. And essentially what that's doing is it's identifying like a couple important things that we want to always keep in mind, and then using those important things to have a good idea of where Bitcoin's headed, whether it moves upward or downward. Gives us direct useful targets. Alright, so here we have basically three different Fibonacci's in place from a previous video. The first one is the blue one, and that comes all the way down from the bull run all the way to the top. And then we have next the orange one from the top here down to the 3,000 range. And then we have the green one from the 3,000 range up to the 14,000 range. We also have one long-term trend line here in white, and then we have a couple key support and resistance zones identified with the red and green dotted lines here. So after we broke down out of this descending triangle, we're now forming a smaller descending triangle, which everyone's identifying. But what they're not talking about, they don't even realize, is that that's actually, if you take this red and this purple channel, and the reason we're using them the two different ways, but if you actually look at this red channel right here, you'll see the green line here, the dotted line, is the heart line of that channel. And the heart line of that channel, we now have a yellow line over top of here, and that's forming the top resistance of the descending triangle. So we can't get back above the heart line inside this channel. So now that we're seeing this kind of interaction here, what we're going to do is we're actually going to eliminate this purple channel. No, you know what, we'll go ahead and leave it on here because we have been seeing a lot of movement on it. We've been seeing a lot of reaction on it. You'll actually see these wicks weren't closing below there on the daily, so we were definitely still respecting it. So we're going to leave it on there for now. But you'll essentially see what happened was we had said we were expecting a test back down to the bottom here, and we did. We came almost down to the bottom perfectly and then immediately got that move back up. And where did we go to? All the way back to the top of the channel. So all we're doing is just playing this out, but it is important that you look at, I noticed this, it's important that you look at different charts too, because if you look at the Bitstamp chart, we didn't break out of this channel. We didn't break out of the descending triangle, but if you look at like the Coinbase chart, we were like broken out, closing above it, but we weren't getting confirmation. We weren't getting big volume coming in, and we weren't seeing a big move. And that's why it's important for us to wait for confirmation, candle closes, and then volume to basically put the nail in the coffin and let us know this is the real deal. So but here we have it. It's super simple right now. We're basically just the bottom of that triangle itself. That's our blue Fibonacci level. That's the 0.618 of the Fibonacci. So that's our support right now, and the heart line of this channel, that's our resistance, and we're just pinned right in between it. So if you look at this channel now, or this descending triangle now, and you look at from here till the end of it, we can expect a break probably about 66 to 75% of the way. So that's around in this range right here. If we don't get that breakout, we're just going to bounce back down here, bounce back to the bottom, back to the top, and then eventually we'll see the move. Now again, I'm still overall bearish because we are clearly in a descending triangle, so price is moving down over time, but I don't think we're just going to dump necessarily. I think what's going to happen is we're going to see this breakout, and possibly it's going to correspond specifically with this white trend line that we had coming up here, and then I think we're going to see the break to the top, and we'll come all the way up to the top of this red channel here, and then we can make our decision about the actual move itself. But I think that's our next move. But again, that's just my opinion. That has nothing to do with what I'm going to be trading or anything like that. I'm just saying the way the oscillators and indicators are right now, stuff's getting tired, and when it gets wore out like that, the market likes to see a bounce. Now we got a little bounce right here, but that's not it. If we see our bullish divergence play out, we'll get a bounce like to the top of the channel here. But again, I don't know how likely it is that we're going to get back up to that $9,500 range. As you'll see, the resistance on the top of the channel, which right now is our longest resistance and our most important resistance, that's right up there at like the 9,500 range. So if we just pop straight up, right now it just went all the way to the top of the channel on this candle, it'd be like 9,900. So at this point in time, the likelihood of getting above 10,000 is extremely unlikely. I think it's more likely that we're headed down lower prices. So, but in the meantime, any of that could play out. We could still get essentially like this triple bottom here and then bounce back up. We could get stopped by the purple resistance or the red resistance. But you know, looking at it on the daily here, I'm going to switch over to a 4-hour real quick. Looking at the 4-hour, I mean, you could see it so clearly. We bounced at the bottom, came back up, bounced at the bottom, all the way to the top. Came all the way back down to the bottom, all the way up to the top. So what's likely to happen here? We're going to come back down to the bottom, and then you'll remember that we did put in place these three color zones right here, and what they were essentially doing is corresponding with the 3 different fib levels, and they're all just right here in this area. So you know, that's how we know basically. If we break through this white trend line here and come down, these are going to be our targets. If we break through here and continuation to the downside, we know that you know, we can expect basically our next support right here. Otherwise, that's what we're talking about. We're in trouble because the next fib nodes are starting to get deep into the 5,000s, 4,000s, etc. So there we have it, guys. That's a crypto trend trader. That's our Bitcoin chart with the matrix out here, and basically just breaking it down a little more clearly, and you know, keeping it simple with just a few things going on, no indicators, no noise, and then just making our moves from there. So, crypto trend trader signing off.